Okay, good morning. Sawati Ton Chow. What's happening, everybody? Let's see here. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about everyone's favorite subject, dying. I say that facetiously, but this is the reality that no one really talks about. It's about dying alone, whether it be in Thailand or where else. But I'm talking about here in Thailand, I'm talking about expats, but it also goes for Thais. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's the topic for today. Now, let me get to this here. Let me paint you a picture. You are in your 60s or 70s. You're living alone in a rented apartment in, say, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, Phuket, wherever it is. Maybe you came here to retire. Maybe you're, who knows? Maybe you're running from something. Maybe you want to start over, whatever it is. And then one day you kind of just, not a big deal. You feel a little bit off. You feel a little sick, a little weak, whatever it is, maybe dizzy. And you lie down to go to rest, and guess what? You don't wake up. That's kind of how it happens sometimes. And no one notices for many days. Your neighbors don't notice. Your landlord doesn't notice. Maybe you don't have a landlord. Maybe your friends don't notice. They think, oh, well, maybe he went on a trip. Maybe he's busy, whatever. And then the smell starts. And then people start to complain. And eventually, if they figure out that the smell is coming from your residence, they break the door down because they figure you're in there dead. And sure enough, they find you there decomposing. You're alone. And sometimes you're in a state, nobody even knows who you are. They can't tell who you are. Now, you are forgotten. And you're just another byline in a newspaper. In some cases, maybe you'll become a tale in some bar somewhere. Oh, you hear about this guy? Remember Joe? Yeah, Joe. Well, he blew up to the size of a hippopotamus. And this isn't really a horror story. This actually happens on a regular basis. In Bangkok, in Chiang Mai, in Phuket, it doesn't matter where it is, it happens. And it happens with Thai people also. So this is, I'm trying to tell you the truth, like always. And I'll give you some reasons why. A lot of people, I hear a lot of people here go, oh, I take care of myself, I'm self-sufficient. And I say that too, but I got a family. So if I disappear, my family knows, right? But they say, oh, I'm self-sufficient. Well, you're not self-sufficient if you die. And then you go, yeah, well, I'm dead already. But you don't think about all the things that go with this. Like I said, elderly Thai people, they suffer the same fate, especially out in the villages, because maybe their kids have moved somewhere else. Maybe they don't have that many visitors. I don't know. Maybe their spouse has died and there's one person left and they have nobody there. And then one day that's it, they're gone. And it's easy to say, okay, well, you die, that's it. Now we just move on. That's the easy way out. Okay? Now, I gotta say this, but in case you don't know, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. I've been living here for more than 30 years now. And if you like this video, this live stream, please click like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor, subscribe. Please remember to do that, because you'll get notified of all the upcoming, supposedly, all the upcoming videos and live streams. And so that'll be good for you, and of course for me. If you want to send a letter out, you want to send me a little letter, a little message, whatever it may be, a Dear Scott letter, you need a consultation, we can work something out. You just send a message to me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. Okay, now before I go on, I'd like to give a big shout out to Mr. Mitch. Keep getting better. You're going to get through this. He's got a bit of an eye injury, so I'd like to see him get better. Nice guy, and you know, been here quite some time. The exchange rate right now, 32.82. It's inching closer to 33. I really wish it would get over 33. I don't know if it will or not. Now let me do something here. God damn, that hurts. Good morning, Jim. I was just going to say, we've got 23 people right now, and not a one has said anything. Well, we have one, Jim. And Jim always talks in the chat. So, where's the 21 other people? Anyway, let me go on here. Let's see here. Like I said, 32.82. That's not too bad, I guess. But air quality now here in Bankapi is 44. The temperature in Fahrenheit is 83 degrees. High of 88, low of 80. Feel like 85. In Celsius, it's 28. High of 31, low of 27. And the feel like is 30. And it is 78% humidity. And heavy rain is scheduled for this coming week and the next week. At least a week and a half to 2 weeks. I mean, it's like 80 to 95% chance of rain, which is crazy. And I like rain, but I don't know if I want it raining all the time. So, anyway, now, let's talk about this a little bit, because most people don't talk about, you know, when I die, I don't even know if a lot of people in Thailand, expats, have wills, because you really should have a will. And the expat trap, so to speak, you have no family, you have no real close friends, you have piss poor Thai skills, and your health deteriorates, and the only person who really knows that your health is deteriorating is you, and maybe your doctor. And so, because of that, maybe you stop going out, you stop answering calls, and you really just, you stop living. You just stay at home all the time. And I know a lot of people now, they don't go anywhere. It's kind of sad, and most of them are older. You know, there was a guy in Chiang Mai, 67 years old. He's in a condo, and it was 12 days before anybody noticed that he wasn't around, he wasn't out and about, and he had no will, he had no family, and his condo was all sealed up. And basically, because he had nobody, they stuck his body in the freezer, in the government freezer, and he just stayed there. I don't know what they did with him. There was no end result, but he was in the freezer for quite some time. Okay? Now, what's the matter with the title? I mean, really, what's the matter with it? You think people don't die here? I mean, people die all the time. And it's a reality that not many people talk about. Listen, I got friends, they're in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, and they have no girlfriend, they have no wife, I'm sorry to say, but my buddy who used to live here, um, he moved to Cambodia. Well, now he's back in the States. Great guy, right? But he's alone. And I'm worried that, and he has some medical issues. He's got a blood clot. And I think he has, he has some, he was walking along. This is a sidewalk thing. Again, he was walking along on the sidewalk and there was a grate, like a drainage grate. And he thought the drainage grate would be fine, which I never trust those things, especially after hearing this story. He walks, he hits the grate, and the grate falls. His leg goes forward, and basically he bangs his shin into the concrete like really hard. It puts a dent in his shin. So he goes to the doctor, and they say, yeah, we're going to have to give you some, you're going to need to wear a stocking on this, and you're going to have to take blood thinners. So he's on that now. He's got issues. I mean, he's got a few issues. And I worry about the guy because he has nobody. So when he goes to Cambodia, he has a couple of buddies, but they're not real, they're guys that he goes out and goes, to the bar with and talks to them there and stuff like that. And I just kind of worry, And then there, of course, there's Jono. Jono is, he and I have talked about this. I think he's 70 or 71 now. What's going to happen to him? So this is something that you really need to think about. When I die, throw me in the trash. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's irresponsible to just think, I don't care what you do with me, throw me away. It's ridiculous. Really, when you think about that, that is just stupid. So everybody else has to they have to pick up after you, clean your mess up. It's like if you jump from a building and you go splat on the ground. Well, everybody else has to clean you up. That's just stupid to me. It's irresponsible and it's selfish. I wanted to go to Cambodia, but my wife does want to go now, and she's saying that the border is closed. I don't know if you can fly there. But this is a mess, what's going on, and I'm going to do something about what's going on with the Prime Minister in Cambodia and Thailand. To me, it's ridiculous. Just from the very beginning, and I don't know if it was a setup or whatever it was, but that's all I'm going to say about it right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you can say. Another person, a Thai person, their kids moved to Bangkok. They're living on small pensions, and maybe they're alone because their husband or wife passed away, and they don't want to ask for help because they're too proud. They don't want to say to somebody, hey, can you come over and maybe help me out once a day? Maybe help take the garbage out or do whatever needs to be done. And, they found some woman in Buridam. She was 78 years old, and her son hadn't visited her in 3 years. And the whole village thought that she had moved. They didn't even know that she was dead. I mean, it was quite some time before they found her. And I mean, she wasn't a person anymore. Really sad, So I'm sure that while there are not a lot of people talking in the stream right now, there are people out there who know people who have died and nobody found them, or somebody didn't find them for a week, 5 days, whatever it is. And, like I always tell my wife, hey, you think these cats love you so much. You die here and you're alone, these cats are going to eat your face off. She's like, no, they're not. Oh. Yes, they are. That's what I think. I think they will. Okay? Anyway. Okay, so now I don't know if anybody knows this, but there are two ways that when a person dies, there are two ways that the Thai police go about handling the situation. One is if you die in a hospital, there is no autopsy required. and the doctor issues a death certificate, and the body is released quickly. If you die outside of a hospital, an autopsy is mandatory under Thai law, and the police are called, and the apartment or condo or wherever you're living is a crime scene. The body is sent to a government hospital for a forensic examination, and it can take days or even weeks for them to look at the body. Now, a German in Phuket died in his apartment not too long ago, and it took them 7 weeks to repatriate his body because he didn't have a will, he had no documents, and they couldn't find any contacts. It took them almost 2 months to get him back to Germany. Now, for me, I think it's going to be easy because I'm not going to say, yeah, I used to think to myself, oh, okay, well, you know, bury me back in Arlington Cemetery or something like that. Now I don't think that way. I think my family should go through, you know, they should go through the routine that people go through in Thailand. You know, you have the viewing and the burning and the 100 days and all this other kind of stuff. So to me, that's the way I want to do it. And I don't really have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. It's fine with me. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the embassy is not going to pay for your cremation or body repatriation, which is just crazy when you think about it. But really, why should they? You don't have a will. You don't have a power of attorney. The police will seal off your room, and your things could just disappear. Everything goes to them, goes to the state. Your money is frozen, and your body goes unclaimed. Okay? So you're screwed. I mean, it's that simple. And, you know, if you really think that you're going to die, and you're just going to go, well, it's not, I don't really care. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care what they do with me afterwards. Really? You should think about it. Use a little bit of your brain. Because, you know, first of all, you know, you're going to be butt naked, which, okay, fine. That's fine, right? Doesn't matter to me. I mean, they got to look at me and I'm butt naked. Well, that's how I came into the world. That's how I'm going out of the world. But they're going to be looking at every orifice, every hair, every little thing. They're going to be looking at everything. And it's not even that. It's that you don't have a say in the matter. Because you didn't leave a will. You're screwed. My Puyai Bond checks in with us regularly when we travel. She checks the house daily. Well, if you're in a village, generally, they're not going to forget you. You know, if you have a Puyai Bond who is active. Now, some Puyai Bonds, they tend to be drunks or, you know, whatever. And they just, or maybe they just, it slips by them, you know. More often than not, though, they check up on people. Which is good. It's funny that when we talk about death, right now I have about a half to a third of the number of people that usually watch my channel on a stream. And we've only got Jim and Knock, who Knock has said two sentences. And Jim, you know, I mean, he said a couple sentences, but there's really nothing being said because no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to think about it. I don't know why. Because I look at it and I go, hey, I want to know, you know, if something happens, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to make sure that I do my part to make sure that everything is okay. But it seems to me that nobody wants to talk about it. I don't know why. crazy. To me, it's crazy. You need to create a will in English and in Thai if you live here. If you plan on living here for more than 3 months, 6 months, something like that, you need to create a will in both English and Thai. You need to give power of attorney to somebody that you trust. You need to provide a list of emergency contacts to your embassy. Now, I have that. That's easy. And if you have a landlord or you have a partner, you need to make sure that they know how to get a hold of your family. You know. I mean, when I was in, well, I don't know about that, Jim. That's not because oh, well, this is Thailand and America is America and no one gives a shit about anybody in America. That's not why it is. Okay, because Thailand is one of the loneliest places on the planet, and so is the United States. Because I'm doing a video about that, and they are both very lonely. Now, you may have people that care about you simply because you have a family, like me, and that is the same in the United States. I mean, if you're in the United States and you have a family, you got kids, whatever, you got a wife, people tend to care about you, you know, because you're the number of people that you know and that you interact with is a little bit greater usually than when you're just single and you're sitting at home watching TV, you know. I knew Billy would not talk about this. He doesn't care. He'll tell me, oh, I don't care. That's what he'll tell me. I knew he wasn't going to be in this stream, even if he's listening now. You know, Jono doesn't usually come into the streams, but I didn't think he would talk about this either, you know, because we've talked about it together. Yeah, I don't think it's the country. I definitely don't think it's the country that makes, oh, well, you know, Thailand, everybody's so friendly. No, it's not that. I know people are friendly in Thailand, but people are friendly in the United States too. I hate to break it to you. You know, it's funny that when I go to the United States, if I'm there for a month, I never have a problem. I always get along with people and have friends there, and you know, and I mean, okay, well, it's not a permanent thing. It's not something where I'm there all the time. But I used to be there all the time. I didn't have any real problems then. The problem there was in my head. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to see the world. That was my problem. Something else is the medical documents that you should have. Like, you know, now I need to do this. Create a living will. Include your cremation and burial wishes, which I need to do that. And I'm going to. Keep a written summary of medications and conditions in Thai. Well, that's not a bad idea, but I don't need that right now. And here's something that I don't know that I do it, but I have enough friends, at least it seems right now. Community over isolation. You want to choose community over isolation. You don't want to isolate. If you have to, you want to hire somebody to check on you every couple of days or something like that. Listen, I told I think it was Bob. I told Jono also. I said, listen, even if you have to hire a girl to come to the house for, say, 2,000 baht, you know, like you give her 1,000 baht every time she comes, which isn't a huge amount of money, but you get somebody who's local or whatever, and it's not a big deal to her. She walks over to your house, you know, she's got a key, she goes in, you know, hopefully you can trust her. She goes in, she knocks on the door, somebody answers the door, hey, how you doing? Oh, all right, you're still okay, everything's good? Yeah, everything's good. Okay. Now, you could be 60 years old or you could be 80 years old. It depends. It really depends. Some people need more help than others. And listen, I'm 62, and I look at, what's his name? Tom Cruise. He's 62. And I'm like, I need to pick up his regimen. I got the time, I can do it. You know, he sticks his face in a bowl of cold water every morning. He does the hyperbaric chamber. He does this, he does that. I'm like, man, I need to get with the program because I'm starting to feel my age. If you can, join a club or a group and make some connections because that will help. But if you isolate here in Thailand, eventually you'll just be forgotten. And when I think about all the people I knew when I first came here, the people that I knew for the first 2 or 3 years, I think I only know, well, there's one guy and I haven't talked to him in probably 7 years. And there's another guy who is my friend in Cambodia. He's the only guy. Out of everybody that I knew, he's the only one. Now, I have friends back home in the States, you know, and I can pick up the phone and call them. I can go see them anytime I want, but that's a little different. So, I'm kind of wondering, though, even though we don't have that many people in the stream, we got 31 people now. We got 2 people, really, that's it, talking. And I'm wondering how many people actually have a will now, or a living will. I'm curious to know that. So if you have that, let me know in the chat, or just hit 1 or something like that. Now, we have all the people that they say, oh, well, I'm going to be dead. Why do I need to care? What does it matter to me? I don't care. I'm going to be dead. In some cases, okay, I understand. Like, you know, am I going to be burned or am I going to be buried? You know, which one is it? Well, you need to figure that out before you die, and in that way you can take care of it. So you should care. You should believe. Well, it's got to be in English and Thai. And you can find out. It's pretty easy to find out. You just have to look for, you know, a trustworthy, if there is such a thing, lawyer that will put it into English and have it translated, because it needs to be translated. So, but that's pretty important, that it does matter what you choose to do. If you choose to, you know, if you choose to be buried, well, are you going to be buried in Thailand? Or are you going to be buried back in the States? If you're going to be buried back in the States, I forget how much it costs. Let me see here if I can figure it out real quick. I thought it was something like $4,000. But I'm not sure. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. Typical cost through the U.S. Embassy, 100 to 110,000 baht. That's $300 to $300. If it's an independent funeral director, such as Siam Funeral Company, $1,530. If it's an online estimate, Jesus criminy, $4,000 to $15,000 for international transport, $6,000 to $10,000, just depending on where you go. The repatriation of a body is very expensive, and sometimes it can run upwards of $50,000. Now it says it generally, well, this is just Reddit, so I'm not going to count that. Documentation and embassy fees, death certificate, mortuary certificate, consular processing, embalming and preparation, need for air shipment, coffin and container, must meet international standards, airline cargo charges, funeral home coordination, because they got to coordinate that, ground transportation to and from the airport, storage fees, morgue and funeral home storage while paperwork is processed. Damn. The ways to reduce the cost: cremate locally and ship the ashes. I don't want to do that. Travel or repatriation insurance often covers these expenses. Many mention coverage limits of $10,000 to $20,000. Wow. Bottom line, standard full repatriation, 200 to 500,000 baht. Cheap quotes exist, $3,000, but likely omit services or use minimal options. Most realistic range for full body return is 6 to 12,000, often 8 to 10,000. Wow. So there you go. No, it's on my to-do list. My wife knows my feelings. At my age, all I want from insurance is morphine. Yeah. Let me tell you, man. And I hate to say this. I get up out of bed sometimes, and I have a hard time getting out of bed. I mean, my arm hurts. My arm that let me see something here. My arm that I tore up about 2 months ago. Let me see if I can figure out where this is here. Well, I don't know. I might have. I thought that I had a rotator cuff injury, but it could have been. I don't know if it is or not. It could have been a labral tear, torn labrum. But it doesn't really matter now because it is getting better. But I will say this: it's hard to get out of bed sometimes. And sometimes I get out of bed and it's not that, like I can't walk or my arm hurts or my hands hurt. Sometimes it's I walk and it takes me a couple steps to kind of like get my balance, and it might take 4 or 5 steps. I just don't feel. I mean, I used to be light on my feet and I used to be able to move around real good. I don't feel that way now. And I think that's because of age, And what are you going to do? I'm dead, toss me in the trash. That's a typical, I'm sorry, dude, but that is a bit of a knucklehead statement. Just throw me in the trash, man. Well, who's going to throw you in the trash? The trash man? I don't think they want to do that shit. They don't want to deal with you. No, but that's the thing. When you're dead, nobody wants to deal with you. In my view, it's illustrative in having integrity, yes. Because, I know people know this, but we're not here forever. And the truth is, I mean, I have told this to people, to many people. One set of people that I always told this to was boxers. I'd say, listen, man, you're 19 years old. Maybe you have 15 years. Maybe. If you don't get injured, if you don't get hurt, you don't have a big problem. You don't suffer any dramatic knockouts, that really put a damper on your career. And they would go, yeah. And, now I look at them, and I think one guy is teaching somewhere in the Middle East. Another guy is doing really, really well, and he was a smart fighter, really smart fighter. And, he lost a couple fights at the end because he just wanted the money, and he wasn't fighting for us anymore, and he was like 2 weight divisions up. But when he was fighting in his weight division, I used to tell him all the time, dude, don't waste the time. Sometimes these guys would go out, they'd run, and they'd come back and they'd drink a Fanta orange. And I'd be like, what are you drinking Fanta Orange for? Why are you eating a big bowl of rice? This stuff is shit for you. You don't have time to waste. And they thought, oh, yeah. But you know what? I was right. I hate to tell you. And I hate to tell them. And they know I was right. You know, and people used to go, yeah. And then they'd go, you know, what he's saying is true. And I know guys that when I met them, they were like 37. Now they're, you know, like 50, 55, whatever. And they're done as fighters. They can't even train people because they're so messed up. Anyway, less expensive to buy a first-class plane ticket and pull a weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, well, I'm sure that'll work. I'm dead. Toss me in the trash. Yeah, my family offered to fly my body back. I told them to save their money. But if there's any incurred expenses, they will pay the bills. So why don't you pay it? Why don't you pay for a cremation and have the ashes sent back to them? I don't know. It's up to you, man. This is what I mean, though. What does it matter? I'll be dead. Someone has to find your body, right? Now, if they find it, you know, oh, he just died an hour ago. Okay, fine. But what about if it's a week later? What about if you're decomposing? You got maggots all over you. I mean, it's disgusting when you think about it. Okay, it has to happen. But you have a say in what will happen, right? Oh, okay. Well, that helps. The trust, yeah. A living trust helps. Something else you don't think about is, you know, the cops might break your door down. Not that anybody cares about that, but, you know, they got to break your door down, and then they go, oh, we got a dead one here. Like I said, the body's going to get autopsied if you're in your own apartment or you're somewhere else, if you're outside of the hospital. They seal up your apartment. No, Jim, that's not how it works if your wife doesn't get that money. The way that it works is the government holds on to that for a period of time. Now, if you have a will and you say, I will this money to my wife, or I give her, you know, I let her withdraw the money from, I don't know how it works, but I think it is that you have to will that money to her. And then she gets the money from the bank. The bank has to give her the money. I don't think it's just as simple as, well, I got the money in the bank, so they can take the money from there and pay for everything. I don't think that's how it works. But, you know, as long as she gets the money, it's fine. I know, but you don't have a will. At least, I don't think you do, right? You don't have a will. If you get the will, then okay, no problem. Oh, God. And let me tell you something, I don't like thinking about this stuff either. I really don't. I don't like thinking about, I'm dead and gone. And, you know, I'll tell you exactly what I think about in Thailand. I think to myself, you know, how can I put this? I think, is everything going to be taken care of and then some, so that, like, my wife, she'll be able to grieve, you know, at her own pace, whatever it is. My kids will be able to, and I'll tell you that, here's the thing, this is what I was going to say. I don't want to be on YouTube until the day I die. That's just, I want to be long gone from YouTube when I die. What's the probate system? If there is a Thai will and assets need to be distributed, or there is no will, intestate death, and heirs need court appointment to manage the estate, any real estate is involved, foreign nationals die owning property in Thailand, then you need probate. Even foreigners with assets in Thailand trigger probate unless everything is clearly arranged in advance. Petition is filed with the Thai court, usually by an heir, spouse, or appointed executor, and the court hearing determines the validity of the will, appointment of administrator, heirs, and asset distribution. Court issues an order allowing distribution of assets. Assets are transferred according to Thai law or the will. Expect 6 months to over a year, depending on the complexity. Now, foreign wills are not automatically accepted. They need to be legalized and translated. Thai wills are simpler for Thai assets. Joint ownership doesn't bypass probate if local laws don't recognize survivorship rights. Banks freeze accounts on death. Access requires a court order. So, the minute that they find out that you're dead, that $800,000 is locked up until your will can prove that that money goes to your wife or to whoever else. Land cannot be inherited by foreigners. If you own land illegally or through proxies, it can be seized or passed improperly. Wow. So there's a couple things to think about. The thought of death is only what? Is only the only thing keeping me alive. I named a family member as a recipient of funds upon passing at my bank. All she needs to do is show a death certificate. Certificates of death shall be distributed by mail trust. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I have to, this is something that I need to do because now things are starting to get a little trickier because I have some stocks and a few other things. And I'm going to have to make sure I take care of them. The more simple things I'm not really worried about, you know, like stuff in the house. Doesn't matter. It's all my kids and all my wife. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff, you know. This is so good. This is so good. I want another one. Oh, we have the new girl here. I think I'm going to get myself another one of these drinks. Oh, thank you. I named it. Oh, okay. That's okay. All right. Let me give me 1 second here. Apartment gets sealed. Blah blah blah. Oh, case example: a foreigner in Pattaya dies alone. Found after 10 days. No ID, no contact, no will. Embassy couldn't act. Cremated by the state. Ashes stored for 5 months before a friend discovered what happened. You really want that? I don't know. I don't want to go largely unknown. I mean, really, when you think about it, does it really matter? Because you're unknown. Most people are unknown no matter what. They're unknown. You think about it. How many people right now, like if I was to go to people in Thailand, how many of them if I said, do you know who Steve Jobs is? Or Steve, what's his name, Wozniak? Do you know who that is? A lot of them would go, no, I don't know. So these are people that have a bit of a reputation. What about if you're just a regular Joe? You got nothing. All right, hang on a second. I'm gonna get myself another drink. Let's see if you can remember. Jabdaya. Coffee the old-fashioned.
We're getting a lot of coffees, mate. Huh?
อันนี้กดข้างหน้ามันสัญญาณมันหายเห็นคือเนี่ยถ้าเราขึ้นเขียวค่อยกดเอาบัตรเลย
ทีนี้
บัตรนะการ์ดถ้าลูกค้าแตะไม่ได้ให้เอาของเรามาเสียบอ๋อ
เป็น duplicate
ต้องจ่ายเป็นอย่างอื่นค่ะ
โอเคแป๊บนึง
มันซ้ำกัน
hang on
มันเป็นที่เครื่องเรา
shit
เห็นไหมแต่ได้ไหมได้อย่างนั้นได้แล้ว
Jesus Christ
มันไม่ชัดเจนหนูขอบัตรเมื่อกี้หน่อย
Come on. Oh, God. All right. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Oh, there's my favorite chatter, Darth's son. Okay. How you doing? Country clubs and cemeteries, biggest waste of prime real estate. Dead people, they don't want to be buried nowadays. Ecology right, Mr. Wang. We just bought property behind the Great Wall on the good side. Why would you buy property by the Great Wall? I don't want anything to do with China, honestly. My friend is in China right now. He goes, guess where we are? And I'm like, dude, I've been to China 3 times. Well, actually it's like 6 times. And I said, I don't want to be there. I don't understand. Thank you, Darth. Oh, it's a caddy check. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, it's they have this new girl here, very sweet, very cute girl, and she's been here about a week, and she still doesn't have it down. So when she puts it in, it never works. So now what happens is, if I put something in and it's 130 baht, and then I go back again and put something in for 130 baht again, it won't let me run the transaction because it's a duplicate. It shows as a duplicate transaction. So I have to use another card. Anyway, Joseph Schmo. No idea. No idea about Joseph Schmo. Ecology right, Mr. Wang. Never heard of him. I have never heard of any of these people. I don't know. Listen, I'm in a bubble, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on. All right? Seriously. Unbelievable. Listen, you did not come here to the earth to die like a dog in a condo. You didn't move across the world to become someone else's problem. Freedom is not doing nothing. Real freedom is taking responsibility for your actions. If you're not willing to handle your end, then maybe you need to stop pretending you're living your best life. Oh, I'm living my best life. Everybody will take care of me. That's if they know about you. Next. Now, what I hear all the time from guys is, oh, you're married. Oh. And I hear a lot of single guys, you know, these, what do they call it? Men going their own way. What, MGTOW. oh, I wouldn't be married for anything. And I'm like, no, you don't want to be married. Thank you, Robert. You don't want to be married because you haven't found a girl that will be the way that you want her to be and that will allow you to be who you want to be, and that together you can have a life together that you both enjoy. That's the reason why. It's not about, oh, I want to be alone. Most people don't want to be alone. Now, when you get a little bit older, you're more set in your ways, and you're like, I just don't want to have to, I don't want to have to train somebody. And I'm at that point now. Like, if I was alone, say, in another 2 years, something happened, and my wife was gone, I don't think I would remarry. Not at all. Because I don't want to have to get into the whole groove with someone, figure out their likes and dislikes, and just get into that whole scene. I just wouldn't want to do that. Now that's a different story. But when you're 25 and you're going, oh, I don't want anybody, that's just a bunch of bullshit. That's really. So you don't want to get laid? Oh, well, I'll get laid. No, but the thing is, most guys won't just get laid. There's a lot of guys out there that are not going to get laid. There's a lot of guys out there right now that they never get laid because they stay at home and they do nothing. And they don't get laid, or they get laid once in a great while and it's some fat pig that they don't even really want to sleep with. So, you can think about that. You can think about, oh, I won't have my wife nagging me. Well, listen, my wife doesn't nag me about much. I mean, if she nags me about something, hey, could you pick up some sand for the cats? Could you pick up some food for me for the cats? Or, hey, we need some butter. That's like what I get nagged. And my kids don't drain my bank account. That's for sure. Because I don't let them. They get what they need. They're taken care of. Oh, and by the way, I think Alex, he may have a job now, which is really good. I'm very happy about that. We'll find out shortly. You can actually make some money, by signing over your dead body to medical science. They will cremate your dead body respectfully after they are done with it. I don't want anybody farting around with my body. 54, and I only want somebody for short periods from time to time. To hell with everything that comes with relationships. Yeah, okay. I mean, to each his own. How come that didn't, it didn't strike a thing? News alert, Scott, in late 50s, getting laid is like 40th on our priority list of desires to get done this month. Well, that's funny because it's only recently, I'd say in the last year or two, not been one of the top priorities. In my 50s, it's still a priority. It's a priority in a relationship. It keeps the relationship strong. That's how I think. I don't think, I don't really care about getting laid. I haven't thought about that until I hit about 60, 61. And even then, if I don't care about getting laid today, I want to get laid tomorrow. So, everybody's different. They have their own needs. Let's see. You can drink. Oh, yeah, with no wife, you can drink whenever you want. Sleep with whoever you want to and travel wherever you want. Well, I could always travel wherever I wanted. Now the thing is I don't want to go alone. So I just bring her. We go together. And she's, most of the time she's pretty cool about things. I don't have to worry about anything. We always we stay in better places than if I go alone and I got to pay for it by myself. If I'm paying $50, we go somewhere else, we're paying $100. And we got a nice Airbnb or whatever it is. In Portugal, we had the most fantastic Airbnb. It was so great. Unbelievable. Oh yeah, you know, the whole, oh, you can sleep with whoever you want. Well, now listen, if you're a really handsome guy, you got your act together, and you can get laid, then that's a good thing. When I was younger, you know, on a regular basis I got laid. As I got older, I saw that it doesn't happen quite as easily. And then you're going to get involved with some chick who has kids. Do you really want a chick who has kids? And I understand, like, listen, Jono's 70. Does he really want some 50-year-old chick? Probably not. You know, does he want some 40-year-old? Maybe, but she probably has kids. Now, if the kids are not in the picture, that's one thing. Wait a minute, what? The amount of future Social Security. I am reconsidering about moving to Southeast Asia to live my retirement life. Well, you know, listen, I've always said, don't come here for the pussy. You come here for the women, you're an idiot. You can come here and get women, and that's the icing on the cake. To get a good one, to get one that you want to stay with, to get one that you enjoy being around with, that's a huge bonus. And that can help you to say, well, I'm not really ready to go back yet. But it depends on the person. Freedom without purpose becomes emptiness. Solitude without connection becomes isolation. And isolation, that's what gets you killed quietly and buried anonymously. You know, and I know there's a lot of people out there going to go, it doesn't matter to me, I don't care. Okay, all I'm saying is, if you really truly believe that nobody taking care of you and you being fat, bloated, huge, swollen, mushy, because you're 2 weeks from when you died and they find you, I don't know, man. You know, I want a little dignity. So you can be proud to be single, you can brag about it, you can say you don't need anybody, you're free, oh, you're so happy, but you're really, if you think about it this way, you are one blood clot away from being found by your landlord in like a week or two of rotting. You know, and maybe that's a harsh thing to say, and I know it's an exaggeration. Maybe. It might be an exaggeration. But that's the bottom line, man. If you got nobody in another you know, it might not take very much time, and you know, you just happen to have some illness that you don't know about. Boom, you fall asleep, you're dead, and then they find you in 2 weeks. You know. Any thought on banking? Which U.S. ones to use and the best way to get money to Thailand and assure your accounts don't get locked? Do you get debit, credit cards shipped to Thailand when they expire? Dude, these are baby questions. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you. I will tell you them. But really, these are simple questions. Any thoughts on baking? Which U.S. ones to use and best way to get money to Thailand? Okay, so there's a couple of bank accounts, and I mean, I don't know all of them, but I know a few that work pretty good. There is Charles Schwab, which I have. Oh shit, what happened to my... Oh, here it is. Yeah, Charles Schwab. And they don't charge a transfer fee. Like when you pull money out of your bank account, the Thai bank will charge money, and sometimes the international bank will charge you money. So you could pay like $14, $15 to take out $100 if you wanted to do that. You could take out more, but Charles Schwab doesn't charge for the withdrawal, and if Thailand charges you whatever it is, if they charge you $7 or whatever it is, it's like $6.80 or $7.20, whatever it is, they refund that to you. Okay. Another one is Truist. I have a Truist account also, and Truist doesn't charge, and the next day they refund the money that was taken from you by the Thai bank. Okay. And then let's see, I have Capital One. That's another one, and Capital One, they do charge, but it's a good one to use. It's just like a debit card, a credit card. You don't really pull money out from it. It's just one for me. That's what I use it for. And there's a couple others, but you got to look around, you know. Let's see here. And best way to get money. You can actually bypass Wise by using Apple Pay to transfer money from your American bank into Schwab's bank account. I don't know how that works. Here, I have Apple Pay. You cannot use Apple Pay in Thailand. You cannot pay anything, but you might be able to transfer the money. I don't know. But if you're transferring, the thing with using Charles Schwab, you're still gonna get a crappier exchange rate. So if you use Wise, you get a better exchange rate, but they charge a fee. I mean, it really works out, and it to me, it doesn't really matter that much. We're not talking about a huge amount of money. Some banks will not transfer the card overseas. Truist. Let's see here. I got to make sure I don't show anything here. Yeah, this is my Truist card, and they won't send the card overseas. So it has to go to my parents, and then they send me the card. And that's expensive because they're ridiculous with the mailing fees. Charles Schwab will send it to me, and I don't have a card in Capital One because I don't really need one. So that's okay. But with the Wise, the good thing about Wise is with my Wise, I mean, listen, if I got $2,000 in there and I go, you know what, the rate is good right now, I'm going to transfer $1,000. I get that $1,000 in a matter of seconds, almost all of the time. I get it in a matter of seconds. So it really works out to be good, you know. Okay. And then use, what is this? Wait a minute. I was hoping to avoid using, I just use Wise or wire transfer to a Thai bank. I would use Wise to transfer the money to the Thai bank. Because, yes, then you can just scan, which is what I do. I have multiple accounts. I've already said this before. I have a lot of banks and not much money in them. But there's starting to be more in them, but what I do is I put some aside for medical issues. I put some aside for clothing. I put some aside for, what is the other one I got? For savings. And then I put some aside for stock. You know, I divide it up. But I can send the money from Wise if everything comes to Wise, I can put it in Charles Schwab and it's there in a matter of seconds. I can send it to my Truist and it's there in a matter of seconds. I can send it to Thai Military Bank. I can send it to Bangkok Bank. I can send it to Kasikorn Bank, Siam Commercial Bank, and it's there in seconds. Although I don't know why, but this last week I had some problems with Thai Military Bank, trying to send it to Thai Military Bank. There's been a lot of YouTube videos as of late of guys in the Philippines saying U.S. banks have been shutting expats in the Philippines down. Haven't heard that happening in Thailand. I don't know why. Why would they? Why would they shut your bank account now? Because you're in the Philippines, but you're an American citizen. You can go, hey, I live part-time in the Philippines, I live part-time in the United States. I don't know what their problem is. Before your card expires, tell your U.S. bank that you lost the card. They will mail you a replacement. So I have read. Yeah, sometimes they will mail it to you, but sometimes they won't. Truist won't. I lost my Truist card many years ago. Well, this is years ago, but they didn't do it. Does Thailand have hospice? Yes. They do. But, you know, it does cost. Maybe it costs $100, $150 a day. If I do 1,000 through Wise, it is deposited immediately. If I do 2,000 to 3,000, there's a 3-day wait. Yeah, I've seen that before, and you know what I do? I transfer $1,000, and then I transfer $1,000 to another bank account, and then I transfer $1,000 to another bank account. And usually that works. If it doesn't, then I just let it go for 2 or 3 days. If you need to prove your income is from U.S. Social Security, Thai taxes, deposit Social Security in a dedicated U.S. account. Well, I do that with Wise. It's a dedicated U.S. account. It has a U.S. bank account number, a U.S. transfer number, and the name of the bank is a U.S. bank account. And I can tell you, they are not going to come after me. It's not going to happen. I mean, I'm smart enough to, I know what to do. I mean, I have Social Security, but I also have some other things. Okay, so, you know, like what I was saying, you know, if you want to die alone, that's your business. The girl that you slept with last month, she probably doesn't remember you, or, well, she may remember you, but she's probably not going to come knocking at your door going, are you okay? She's not calling, unless you got some money to offer. The buddy you had a drink with at the bar, he's probably not knocking on the door. And, you know, that's the thing. I guess, I don't know, do you want to send off? I don't know. I mean, you know, like, I think about it and I think, do I want a big send-off? Do I want, you know, 300 people at my funeral? No. I want my wife and kids, and that's about it. All right, so there we have it there. I'm curious to know how many of you have a plan in place if something happens to you, like, tomorrow. You know, like, hey, if I die, so-and-so's going to take care of me, or I'm going to, like, you know, okay, the trust is going to take care of it, or something like that. You're going to be taken care of. If I try to do a second transfer to the same account, it shuts me down until a certain time is passed. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know why. I've done things like transferred $300, then transferred $500 to the same account. Just because I know, oh, under a certain amount, over a certain amount, and they're going to mess with my funds. But usually I don't have a problem because I got enough funds here to last me. Thai bank can't validate the money deposited from a Wise account wasn't taxed. Well, but it shows that it's my Social Security going into the Wise bank account. I don't know why I would have an issue with that. And they can fuck off anyway. Sorry. It makes no sense to me. You wanna mess with me about my Social Security? I'll fight you until tooth and nail, or I'll leave. That's what I'll do. I'll just bail. How old are you, Lotto? I'm curious to know. How is it? Yeah, I don't understand this. Huh. There must be a lag time on this. I don't know. Yeah, I get really irritable about taxing my Social Security, especially when it shows that it's Social Security going into the Wise account. And that alone, you know, that should be enough. They want to get difficult about it. Okay, no problem. Then I'm getting out of here. That's it. If they want to try taxing Social Security, that's too much, man. That's just ridiculous, really. I mean, first of all, there's a law in place that prevents anyone from taxing Social Security, except being in the United States and you earn over a certain threshold and then you have to pay. You know. I don't care about the nomad capitalist. That guy's a shyster, man. He knows a little bit, but he's a shyster. You do a look on Better Business Bureau for him, okay? Well, I've got my passport in Malaysia, and I've got my passport in the Maldives, and dude, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't believe him. I think he's a snake. And he's a snake oil salesman. That's what I think about him. And if you look, my friend tried to go through him, and what happened was, at first, he got passed through to the guy, whatever his name is. So he started talking to him, and the guy said, oh, okay, so listen, for $22,000, I will set you up and put you in touch with the proper people. And then the next step was he was going to talk to a bunch of people in Portugal. Hola. He was going to talk to some people in Portugal. It wasn't even him. So the guy was just passing him off to other people that knew what to do. And he would say, oh, my people in Portugal. They're not his people. Bunch of bullshit. It's just people that, it's just like if I want to get somebody a visa here, I can go, oh, you need a visa? Okay, it'll be 100,000 baht to get a visa. I'll get it for you. And you just go through somebody who gets visas here in Thailand for 25,000 or whatever it is. How was that? Are you ecstatic? Are you jumping up and down, clicking your heels? It's deposited into Wise, which I have other money going into, but when the Social Security goes into the Wise account, it says right on it, Social Security. I didn't know who else could demonstrate that. I was attempting to transfer savings into Wise. I don't know why you couldn't do that. Or you could just use your Wise as a savings. You could put, Wise has those things called jars. I don't use them because I have too many banks as it is, and I don't have enough money. I can't have 500,000 in 20 different accounts. And because I started with the stocks, well, now I'm like, listen, I don't want any money in jars. What do I need it for? Listen, I'm telling you for a fact that nomad capitalist, and maybe he'll come after me now. I don't know. I don't give a shit. To me, I just think, yes, I'm depositing it into Wise. It goes directly into Wise. No problem. You just have to set it all up. That's all. But when it comes to him, my buddy was going to do business with him, just like I said. And he was like, he went back to the people and he goes, no, I want to talk to that guy. I want to talk to him. And they're like, we're sorry, sir. We're the ones who handle this. So, he didn't do anything. And if you look I'll look right now. Yeah, here's this. I mean, I'm just looking. This is just one. Okay. On this one, it says great reviews. Yeah, here we go. Here's Better Business Bureau. Well, this is Nomad Investments. Here is Glassdoor. Horrible toxic environment, anonymous employee, nomad capitalist employee review. Okay, so I don't know about this because an anonymous employee could just be somebody who's disgruntled with them. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this. Nomad Capitalist, a boutique consultancy. It's a boutique consultancy helping 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs. Why do they need him? Tell me that. Why wouldn't they just use a lawyer in the country where they're going? They charge 500 Singapore dollars for a 1-hour Skype consultation with Andrew. That's his name, Andrew. If you want them to go through with your information and make a personalized proposal, they will charge you $8,500. That's 2 hours with Andrew. He was supposed to send 60 to 100,000 in the personalized proposal, not including the enormous cost of residency, which is undoubtedly about buying houses and other real estate in the right places. I mean, there's just one article after another. He's a decent marketeer, but that's really all he is. If fools want to pay him $10,000 just to be referred to actual lawyers and accountants, well, a fool and their money will soon part. Deceptive tactics are used to, quite frankly, dupe customers into paying hefty deposits, $18,000, and afterwards they expect you to contribute in excess of an additional $57,000 for them to shuffle a bit of paperwork. To my calculation, $77,000 fee paid to Andrew and his merry band of thieves will get you around $10,000 worth of work done, netting him and his gang of thieves $67,000. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And that's why, I mean, you know, he has some good information. I will say that. He does have some good information. When he's not trying to sell you something or get you to buy something or whatever it is, you know. There are some things he'll go, oh, in this place, you know, you don't have to do that, or oh, now they don't have the golden visa or whatever. He knows that kind of stuff. Robert, I think it's really he's counting on people being lazy and issuing referrals to other people that will do the work for him. And then he makes a shitload of money, which, I mean, it's smart. I guess it's good, but it's not really, he's not the guy who's helping you. And yeah, I will never renounce my citizenship here. I think it costs you now, it's around $5,000 just to renounce your citizenship. And then, you know, why should they let you back in? You don't want to be an American? Okay, well then why are you going to come back? For what? You're a Georgian, you're a Malaysian, you're a whatever. Okay. The only thing that I would say is, yes, it would be nice to have a second passport or a third passport. And I think it is possible, relatively easy, if you have a little bit of money and you have a little bit of time. Like in Ecuador, it's not that difficult to get your permanent residency. I don't know about the visa, but yeah, but you see, this is the thing. That why give it up then? Oh, because you don't want to pay taxes. Well, there's ways around that, and it's better just to be on the up and up and try to find any loopholes than to renounce your citizenship. That's my opinion. You know, I don't get it, you know, really, but anyway, we're talking about dying. You came here to Thailand for a better life, but how about your death? You ever think about that? If no one checks on you, if no one knows your name, if you have no will, no power of attorney, no documents, then your story ends in a body bag and nobody's gonna remember you. You still have time, so do the paperwork, make the calls, build a little circle. Don't be the guy whose body they find when it's already too late. And like I said, I have told Jono this, Billy, I have told him this. Maybe, you know, what he should do is hire some girl. Come to his room, you know, twice a week or something. Just come there, you know, I don't know if, you know, maybe he's banging or maybe he's not. But just get one that comes and, you know, he gives her a couple thousand baht, you know, build that into his budget, and she comes in and checks on him, you know, and that way, you know, he's not stuck. Yeah, okay. All righty. We love to hear that. Yeah, I'll be dead, so it's not going to matter. Unbelievable. All right, well, do me a favor, if you would. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the like button. That does not cost you anything. If you want to support the channel, look down below in the description. There is a plethora of ways that you can support the channel, including watching. You can also become a VIP member of the website for as little as $1.99. You can send me letters, rude comments, sweet comments, Dear Scott letters, if you need a consultation, and americaninbangkok@gmail.com. Yes, that's it. All right. So, I guess we're pretty much done with the death subject here. Did you get drunk 2/4 Korean? Can't find my body. Too late because it doesn't matter. Don't need a will because I have nothing and nobody to leave it to. I'll try and die in the open or around the time the bills are paid. No, you didn't get drunk. Yeah, okay. So you're just gonna wing it and just die and let everybody take care of you. Do you want to be buried or do you want to be cremated? Or does it matter? What in the fungulo is this? Oh my God, look at this. What is that? That was wild. I don't know what that was. That was kind of freaky. That was crazy, for sure. How much does a maid housekeeper without acrobatics cost in Thailand? Oh my God. You're asking me questions that you need a lot, there's some questions that you need to answer. You know, like how big is your place? How often do you want her to clean? Do you want her to live in your place? What do you want? Because it can be quite cheap if you really want. A long time ago, we had 2 maids. Well, maid is not a cook, so they are generally separate. But okay, let's say you have one that's going to do both. My God. We had a babysitter / maid, and she did not cook. And she lived in our house, and she cost us about $5,000 a month. But that was how many years ago? 18 years ago. About 18 to 20 years ago. Well, it was freaky, whatever it looked. To me, it looked freaky. It looked like a white, like a silver-haired ladyboy. But yeah, I mean, if you just want her to come, they're gonna charge you 1,000 baht or something like that. I mean, you know, if it depends on you, because you have to think about your negotiating skills. And I'm gonna say your negotiating skills, I don't know how good they are, but I'll just say they're not that great. They're gonna charge you, if just for a quick cleaning, yeah, at least 1,000 baht a day. And they're not gonna cook for you 3 times in the day. They might cook you a meal at lunch and clean your house up for you, and that'll cost you 1,000 or 1,500 baht. And you're gonna have to provide all the food and everything else. So, but like I said, we had a maid, and she was a maid, and you know, she cleaned her house, and she helped with the kids because, you know, the kids were small, and Bo would be carrying one, and I wouldn't be around, and so the girl would, I wouldn't say 800. And these yeah, but these girls were, one was from Laos and one was from, I think, Cambodia. Yeah, I mean, she's gonna charge you at least 500 baht to clean. She's not even gonna come over for less than 500 baht because she might have to travel across town. She's not gonna take the freaking bus. I don't know, unless she's some low-end cleaner. She doesn't want to have to take the bus to get to your place. Jesus Christ. You know, you figure if you give her 500 baht to clean a 2-bedroom condo, plus another 200 baht for the 200 baht for the transportation, that's 700 baht. And that's pretty cheap, man, really. I know a lady, she lives close by, and she has a live-in who works with her like 6 days a week. She cleans, she works at her restaurant, and I think that girl probably makes maybe 9,000 baht a month. That's it. There we go. There's your cosplay. Everybody can have fun with that. Well, that's you. You know, I don't particularly like people living in my place, but at the time, we had an extra bedroom. You know, we had, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, we had 4 we had 4 bedrooms. We had 4 bedrooms, and the kids stayed in one room. I had an office, a big office. We had a little room, which is where the maid stayed, and we had 2. We had 1, and she lived there. She lived there for, I don't know, a couple of years, and then we got another one. And that one was from Laos, and she worked out good for a while, and then all of a sudden, she got pissed off about something. My wife asked her to do something, and my wife is not like the kind who's like, you know, you do this, and you do that. She doesn't push her around. She just said, hey, could you do this for me? And the girl got pissed and threw something down. So she waited, and when the girl calmed down, my wife called her and said, you know, listen, this is unacceptable. You cannot do this. You start throwing things around, you start getting pissed off like that, I'm going to fire you the next time. And so she did it again, like a couple of weeks later, and my wife just goes, you're out of here. And we never had another maid. 700 baht for just cleaning. You can get a live-in girlfriend who would do cleaning included for 20,000 baht. Oh, really? Good luck. Good luck, buddy. You've got to clean my house, fucking suck me, all for 700 baht a day, for 20,000 a month. Listen, dude, these chicks are not working for dirt cheap anymore. They're not stupid. Yeah, you'll get one. She'll be some little Isan farmer who doesn't speak a word of English, and she's probably fucking you because she doesn't want to. She just is like, I need the money. Yeah, well, believe me, sometimes I think about telling my wife, you better hire one. Because every time she says she's gonna, listen, I hate to say this, but Darth, sometimes you got your head up your ass. It's not quite as easy as you think. Back 30 years ago, you could give them 10, 15,000, 20,000, and they would be like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good. If you gave them 30 to 50, they'd go, oh, wow, okay. You know. What is this? Yeah, it's 15 years old, unless it's hazardous. If it's hazardous, then it's 18. And like I said, that was 700 baht. It was 3 times a week. Oh, 2 quarters Korean. Thank you. Wow. Give him a thumbs up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You're saying you can get a live-in girlfriend for 700 baht a day. That sounds to me like she lives with you. And just because she has a job doesn't mean that she wants to live with you. Just because you're paying her money. You'd be surprised at how many of them are like, listen, I want to live on my own. I like they always say chop isalat, which means they like their freedom. They don't want a guy telling them what to do. They don't want a guy ordering them around. They don't want a guy who says, honey, I want this done, I want that done, I want this done. They don't want that. Okay, whatever. It's almost 700 baht. It's 666 baht a day. Or 667 baht a day. Whatever you want to say. I understand that. But you said she's live-in. Who will do your cleaning included. Okay, go find yourself a girl like that. I'm telling you, go and find it. See how easy that is to do, my friend. You watch. Guys, you don't believe me. You never believe me. You can do it. But she's going to be someone who's not very smart at all. She may not speak any English. And like I said, the only reason she's going to bang you is because you're paying her. She's a hoe. It's not like somebody who's on salary. Lots of cosplay today, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand it. To me, like, okay, it's kind of like Snow White, 7 Dwarfs. I don't get it, but cleaning, laundry, folding. And you know what's funny? You really want to hear what's funny? Darth and everybody else, for that matter. When I first came here, I still remember this like it was yesterday. The first girls that I took, I paid 500 baht for each of them. They spent the night, they cleaned my room, they folded my clothes, they got in the shower with me and gave me a shower, they sandwiched me. I don't even remember what else they did. And at the end, they came to me and wide me. Okay? Now that was back then. And back then, for a pittance, they would do their activities with you. The fun, you'd get down to the fun, you'd do everything. I had girls that would come over that would be my cleaner for me and do all that. And it was like 1,000 baht. You don't think husbands are paying more than 20,000? Yeah, and they're, oh my God. I'm not. I can tell you I'm not. I don't pay money. She don't pay me, I don't pay her. If she needs some money, I give it to her. If I need some money, she gives it to me. It's simple. It's an even relationship when it comes to that. Very equal. They don't want to be a full-time cleaning lady. Oh my God. Of course there are guys who are husbands who give their wives an allowance. There was a time when my wife wasn't working because I told her, stay home with the children, stay home with the boys. One of them was like 3 and the other was 1. They were both very young. And I said, I want you to bond with the kids. She already had her degree. She already could work, but she didn't want to work. And I didn't want her to work because I wanted her to bond with the children. And for the first 7 or 8 years, I always gave her money, not only for herself, but also to pay the bills so that everything was paid for. I never had to worry about it. I just gave her the money, she paid everything. The rent was paid, of course, on time. Everything was paid. Electric, water, everything. I never had to worry about anything. I just totaled it up. How much do we owe for this? Oh, okay. 47,000 baht. Okay, here you go. Here's 47,000, and here's 23,000 extra for yourself or whatever. He could get that, but she also be able to eat corn on the cob through a picket fence and smell like. I don't know, man. Listen. Well, Jim, I don't really care. You know, do you care about mine, the one that I see here yesterday? Come on. You're going to have to get rid of that thing. That's all I can tell you. Those things grow quickly, and it's going to happen where that thing is going to start eating your fish. Okay. Hia. It's H-I-A. It's a monitor lizard. He has a monitor lizard that comes around his pond. And yesterday when I was walking in, I was walking up the ramp to come up to the door where you walk into Pacamara, and there was a monitor lizard there, a small monitor lizard. It was probably about 1.5 feet long. And I was like, wow. So I took some video of it. I'm telling you, you don't want those things showing up. I'm telling you right now, man, you don't want those things. Get rid of that thing. The more that they show up, the more that other ones will show up. And you'll be sitting there watching them. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, and they may never touch you, may never do anything. But they may start stealing your fish. Who knows what they're going to do, dude? It's like having a cobra stay near your house. You just don't want it. Anyway. Those things are nasty. That's the only way I know how to put it. They're nasty, and you don't want them living where you live. You think about it. Think about Klang Toi, where you walk out and boom, there they are. Or you wake up and you look down and there's water coming up through the floor and there's a monitor lizard there. You don't want that, dude. You really don't. They're so cute until they're not. There's a reason why they call them what they do here. Yeah, I know. And believe me, if there was one near my house, I would run them out. I would kill them, or I would run them out of here. Because I don't want them here. They don't need to be here. There's no reason for them. It's just like all the ones that are in Lumpini Park. Oh, God. Yeah, they have sharp claws, and, you know. 5 years. Cha'am is okay. I think in 5 years, it's a maybe. That's what I would say. Hua Hin is not a maybe. It's a no more. Prajuip is a maybe. You know. But you need to come and visit. You need to come and look. And I'm telling you, like, if you go to Cha'am and you look around for a little while, you probably need to do it more than once, or you need to do it more than a couple of days or something like that. Because if you're going to come, really, you need to come for, I mean, I used to say you come for a year. Now I can't really get away with saying that anymore because no one wants to spend that much time. You know, come for 6 months, come for a year. Now it's like come for a month, you know. Not a bad place, but it's just not. You know where you may want to look? I know it's a little farther south, is Chumphon. That's a pretty cool place. Go to Chumphon. Find your own lady wherever you find her. Jesus Christ. Find her in Bangkok. Find her in Cambodia. Find her wherever you want. You know, that's not the most important thing here. And you are one who said it's not. You're the one who said that your libido is down, so you don't need to bring the lady. If he wants to bring one, he can bring one. Easy enough. It's not all that hard. If you guys, you know, honestly, if you knew how much trim I pulled when I first got here, and I was a little innocent, sweet little guy that was smaller, had hair, a little more handsome, you guys wouldn't believe it. You really wouldn't. It was a couple a day at least. 3 trips planned to Thailand, but also going to Bali, Lombok, and Cambodia. I think you'll like Bali. Bali is nice. And you'll like Cambodia. And Cambodia is getting better and getting better. But I just think Cambodia, you know, you have Phnom Penh, you have Sihanoukville, you have Siem Reap, you have a couple other places, Battambang, you have some other places. But compared to Thailand, I think Thailand is the overall winner. It just has a lot more to offer. Even more than, you know, it has a lot more to offer than Vietnam, even now. I think it beats Vietnam by, you know, a little bit of a margin. But Bali, I really like. If I was going to live in Bali, I wouldn't live in the city. I would live out a little ways, and you'd be able to get a maid out there, and you could have a full house for, I don't know, 500 to 1,000. You'd have a cook, you know, a maid. You could have all kinds of things there. No, it wasn't 50 baht when I first came here. It was 25 baht. It was 55 baht in like 1997 or 1998, which is a couple years after I was here. But people don't remember that the baht used to be pegged. It was 25 baht to the dollar. You know, so, well, that's what I mean. You know, the Chinese are the ones who have taken over. You know, they're the ones who've taken over. Jesus, dude. I already told you how much they cost, and that, I mean, what do you expect? You think you're gonna get them for 200 baht a day, 300 baht a day? You're not gonna get that. I'd say if you're lucky, you'll get them for 500 baht. Nobody's gonna go anywhere for less than 500 baht. I'll tell you that right now. You know, it's not gonna happen. Man, there are all kinds of weird looking people here today. There are so many weird looking people here. It's crazy. All these cosplay, and then you got, I don't even want to say it. There are things that I should not say, and that I will not say, because it might get me in trouble. Anyway, yeah, they are, but you know, you're not going to get a lot cheaper because, oh, I'm in Isan. You don't even speak Thai, right? You don't speak Isan. You don't speak Thai. You know, I mean, like, listen, if I went into Isan, I mean, I did. I lived in Isan. I lived in Udon Thani, and I lived in, what the hell was the name of that city? I can't even remember it now, but it was about an hour and a half from the city. And I can tell you that, you know, like, I had an apartment, it was 3,500 baht. Now, if you want them to clean it, they're going to charge you 500 baht. They're going to charge you 500 baht. At least. And that's if they live in the city. If they don't live in the city, they're going to charge you more. If they live in the city, maybe you'll get it for 500 baht if it's a one-room apartment or a one-bedroom or something like that. That's it, man. You know, everybody thinks that, like, Thailand is so cheap and the Thais are so, they're struggling. Yeah, I mean, listen, even the guys who are working with Grab and doing these kind of things, they're not making minimum wage. You know. Oh, here's another cosplay. Oh, wow. Blue, gold, and yellow. Jesus Christ. Like a little witch. She's got a witch's hat on. No, it doesn't. You just don't listen. God damn it. And you're a cheap motherfucker, I can tell. You're cheap. If you can't afford to pay him 500 baht, don't have a maid. Jesus Christ. You know, really. I wouldn't have a maid. You know why? Maybe what I would do is once a month I would call a maid. I'd say, come in and clean my room. And it would cost me 1,000 baht. I go, all right. And I'd give her a 200, 300 baht tip, 500 baht tip. You know, you're not going to get anywhere in Thailand being cheap. Like, dirt cheap. Like, oh, I don't want to park. You're going to be a kimiao. Yeah, well, what is a maid? A maid is a laborer. And that's in Isan. Here in Bangkok, you're not going to get that. You want to pay, okay, if you want your 20,000 girl, go ahead and try to get her and see what kind of girl you get. You're going to get, really, you're going to get some farm girl who probably is not the greatest looking. Maybe she's okay. And she doesn't speak any English. That's what you're going to get. You want to get some girl, she's educated, or she speaks some English, she's working on her degree or something like that. She's going to charge you more money, man. Maybe she'll charge you 700, maybe she'll charge you 1,000. It depends on your place and the size of the place. Jesus Christ. Anyway, and minimum wage here, listen, I know a lot of Thais that earn 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 baht. I know Thais that earn 250,000 baht working for a company. I shit you not. Now, that's not very many of them, but I do know some. And I know a lot that make 100 grand. And they live great. I know one guy, shit, man, he's got a Mercedes, he's got all kinds of things. And I think he makes like 100, 120,000. So, Thailand is not quite as poor as you may think. What is this? I don't know. They must have, today must be cosplay day. Anyway, I guess this stream has run its course. I've had my share of these streams, to be honest. Oh, here's two more. Jesus Christ. In East Sun Village, you will get a widow in her 60s who is desperate for money, and she'll clean for less money. Yeah, and you know, you'll probably feel bad for her and you'll give her a tip. You know, and I don't want that kind of exploitation, to be honest. I don't want to exploit somebody. Not like that. You know, Andrew Tate, who I don't talk about much because, you know, I agree with him in a lot of ways, and there's a couple things I don't agree with him about. But he said something once that really hit home with me. And he was talking about how he was in Koh Samui. And he's on the beach. And he sees this old woman. She's in her 60s. And she's carrying, on her shoulder, she has a stick. And on each end of the stick, she has a couple of buckets that have bottles of water in the buckets. And two girls walked up to the lady, and like, you know, the lady said 20 baht for two bottles. And they go, oh, if we get two, can we get them for 16 baht? And Andrew Tate just looked at him and he goes, what is your problem? You're asking this lady to discount a couple of pennies for you because you're cheap and you don't want to spend that extra little bit of money. So you want to make her earn less money so that you can extend your trip a little bit more by spending a few less pennies. He's like, you're ridiculous. And he gave her he gave the lady 100 baht for like a bottle or two of water. He just gave it to her and said, here you go, honey. You know, because I mean, there is such a thing as people, they're busting their ass, and whatever you feel about them, however they got into that situation, it's just not right to try to break the price down to even cheaper. And that's what I mean about a maid. Oh, she's going to do it. Well, she'll do it for 400 baht. That's really pretty cheap. And then you're like, well, how about I give you 350? How about we work on that? Maid Chow, go around Thailand for a month and ask how much a maid is. Take Darth with you. And keep a notepad with you and write down all the prices. Because I can tell you, I remember most of them right here. Listen, I used to get blowjobs in Cambodia for $2. Go see how much it is now. I mean, really. You know, you're some chick, you're talking to her, she says she likes you, you're like, oh, wow. Next thing you know, she's doing her business, and then she goes, you give me money? Huh? What? Of course, you're thinking, oh, I guess I'm going to have to pay her. You give her $3 and she's jumping up and down for joy. I mean, really, you want to exploit people? Yeah, well, that'd be the death of me, man. Seriously, it would be the death of me, because that is right, almost right next door to where I live. She just doesn't know. She doesn't know what's up, and you know, I set her straight, and I will set her straight every time. Oh, I want a fair price. What's fair? What's fair? 450 baht instead of 500? Really? You know what you think? Think that everybody here is not out to rip you off, because they're not. I'm here to tell you. Once in a while, you'll get somebody who will try to rip you off. I had a guy the other day. I get in his taxi. We start driving off. You go Pattaya? I said, go to Pattaya for what? Why am I going to Pattaya? Oh, Sanuk Mak. I go, Sanuk Mak. You go. You go to Pattaya. Okay, you go. Oh, I know money. I said, well, I don't want to spend my money in Pattaya. Oh. And I got a wife and 2 kids sitting at home. What do you want me to do? You understand? It's just ridiculous. And then here you are going, oh, can I get it for 500 in Isan? So you're going to move to Isan so that you only have to pay 500 baht for a maid. I want a fair price. Well, what's fair? How much does it cost in America? You know how much it costs? Homoglow, $19 for the first visit. Then after that, it's 50 bucks a pop. I've seen the commercials. So 50 bucks a pop is about 1,700 baht. So why would you think you're going to get something here for a fifth of the price that you would in America? It's not going to happen. It really, this actually starts to burn me up. That and the thing like the water that Andrew Tate was talking about, that just irks me to no end. And, you know, I told you guys about the girl that I met in Kanchanaburi. I actually thought she was a nice chick at first. And so here she is working, trying to earn money so that she can get a room, and all she's doing is working for a $2 room. She's that cheap that she wants to work instead of provide the $2. Okay, I guess it's smart, but she doesn't want to pay 2,000 baht to do the turnaround visa. What the fuck? Dude, you're out of your mind, dude. Yeah, they're done. I think it's time to go. What do you care? What do you care how much they make? Seriously, do you really care? Because let me tell you something. If they want to work there, by all means they can. I can tell you that the jobs my kid was applying for, the jobs my kid has been applying for, and he's right out of college, 25 to 50,000. And if he was lucky, he could get a job. Maybe he's making 75 to 100,000. But I don't think he's going to get that. But now is not really the buyer's market. I think he's just being a douchebag. I don't know. I have no idea. But you know what? It's time to go. So, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate the contributions. And I will see you in approximately 2 weeks. All right? So, until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerkin mai. Take care and be good.